In one of the previous sections, we discussed life stages. Associated with each major life stage a person goes through is what a sociologist will call life course transitions. These are the significant events that transition a person from one life stage into the next. Childhood is one major life stage. Now, sometimes it's broken down into smaller stages like infancy, toddler, and young child. Now, some of the life course transitions in this stage could be learning to walk, which would move that person from infancy to toddler, or beginning school, which would transition the person from toddler to young child. Now, in the previous chapter, we looked at adolescence as a life stage. This typically will cover from 12 to 18-year-olds, but again, keep in mind some sociologists are expanding this life stage to include early to mid 20s. Now, some life course transitions of this stage could be biological change, including puberty, new responsibilities like getting a driver's license, and also beginning secondary school, be it middle, junior high, or high school. Now, the same is true for adulthood as well. In fact, like childhood, adulthood can be broken down into smaller segments, such as early, middle, and late. Now, each of these life stages lead to new phases of personality development. And just like we saw for childhood and adolescence, there are life course transitions that correspond to them as well, such as stages of education, including graduation from high school or possibly the beginning of college or trade school, and then also graduating from that school as well. It could also include moving out of one's parents' home, or your first full time job, marriage, childbearing. Now, sociologists are very interested in looking at trends. Trends are the normative patterns that can explain a wider society as a whole. So, for example, most sociologists will say that the trend and the normative pattern for the American man today will include things such as graduating from high school at the age of 18, moving out of his parents' home at the age of 22, getting married at the age of 27, and having his first child at the age of 32. Now, when I look at myself, I see that according to this normative pattern, there are similarities. I graduated from high school at the age of 17. I moved out of my parents' house at the age of 23, and I also got married at the age of 23. And my wife and I had our first child when I was 29. Now you can see that the numbers are fairly close. This shows the trend. This can be very helpful for a sociologist to compare and to contrast people groups within a society, across various societies, across various cultures, and even see the trend within a society from one time period to the next. Now, in this section, we begin to look at the life stages of adults. But the trends, the normative patterns that sociologists have discovered for adults are different for men and women. In fact, that is the main idea for this section. Men and women progress through adult development in different ways. Now, in this section, you're going to be introduced to some of the research done by Levinson and Fries that shows the differences between male and female adult development. So, as you're reading, you want to answer these two main questions. First, what are the major stages in Daniel Levinson's theory of adult male development? Secondly, based on what Fries found, how does female adult development differ from male adult development? The key to understanding this section is to compare and contrast the development of adult males and adult females. So to ensure So, to ensure that you are able to have a good understanding, I recommend using the following type of organizer chart. The left side is labeled Adult Male Development, and the right side is labeled Adult Female Development. Now, as you read, you want to jot down specific notes and descriptions of each stage of development that these individuals go through. So, for example, on the left side, what are the specific stages and a brief description of each stage that males go through, such as early adult transition, where the primary task is leaving the home. Now, when you're done going through all the information in adult male development, you want to do the same thing for this section on adult female development. And what you'll find is that you're going to see one stage being leaving the family. And the key task here is making that break from the home. Now what you want to do is you want to go back, and where you look at both sides, you want to see and look, where are they the same? In this case, we see that early adult transition for males is very similar to the leaving the family stage for females. So you want to end up highlighting both of these. When you're done, you will have a complete chart with all of the key stages and descriptions and be able to identify clearly where they are similar. This will give you a good visual of the similarities and the uniqueness of the life stages of adult males and adult females.